It is Friday, May 29th, and my girlfriend and I are near the John Day Dam on the Washington side of the Columbia River Gorge, looking at this BNSF intermodal derailment. The previous night, a strong windstorm knocked over a handful of cars on a westbound, which caused a major derailment and a full-day closure for the entire Fallbridge subdivision. Luckily, the crew was okay, as all the locomotives and the head end of the train stayed on the tracks. The front half of the train would be moved to Wishram, and the rear DPU would also be taken away, leaving just the derailed cars. As we were viewing it during the day, crews were already out and about working on the cleanup. Even with the whole railroad closed for the day, there was some activity as we headed for Avery to catch this work train hauling track panels and ballast for the derailment site. You can hear just how bad the wind is in this section of the gorge in this clip. Jumping ahead a day, the Fallbridge is now reopened, and we are at Maryhill catching this manifest with an SD40 sandwiched between two GEVOs. The wind was still blowing hard, which you can see and hear moving my phone around. Trying to move to a less windy spot, we went back to Avery, which didn't seem to help too much, but we did catch this train, led by BNSF 4706. A westbound grainer would show up just a little after this eastbound. Moving to Wishram, we would spot this wildfire starting to consume the hill. This was the Haystack Butte fire, which was a human-caused fire along Highway 14. The fire would end up consuming 620 acres and was moving in a northeastern direction towards Maryhill. Luckily, firefighters were able to keep the fire away from Wishram and would attack the northeast of it with helicopters. In this clip, we were only seeing the fire about half an hour after it was started, with not nearly as many acres consumed yet. With road closures happening in the area, we decided it was best to leave Wishram and head to Lisle to catch the CSX SD70 and the coal train with the NS unit again. We would take one last jump up to Celilo Park to check back in on the fire, which was now much bigger. We would also catch this westbound UP garbage train and end it for the night. The next two clips are of the Empire Builder. The first is just outside of Bingen, while I was heading home on May 31st. The second is at Tunnel 1.5, on June 2nd, with a very backlit engineer Tim going past in a P-42. Finishing up this day, we would do some rail fanning in Stevenson and in Home Valley, and follow an NS leader back west.